There are songs that need no introduction, songs where just the first 2 seconds tell you exactly what it is, songs that played in movies you loved as a kid, in shows that defined your teenage years, in commercials you couldn't get out of your head, and yet the man who created them decided one day to disappear, to walk away from everything, and nobody heard from him again. This is the story of Norman Greenbaum. Norman Joel Greenbaum was born on November 20th, 1942 in Malden, Massachusetts, a small suburb just outside of Boston. He grew up in an Orthodox Jewish household, attended Hebrew school as a kid, and from a very early age it was clear that music was his thing. Not the kind of music you'd expect from a boy raised in that tradition. What moved Norman's soul was Southern blues and the folk music that dominated the 50s and early 60s. That mix of roots, of earth, of real stories told with a guitar, that was what he wanted to do. By high school, he was already playing with different bands. He had that fire. He enrolled at Boston University to study music, played coffee houses around the neighborhood for whoever wanted to listen, and slowly built his ear, his style, his voice. But college wasn't enough for what he was chasing. In 1965, barely in his 20s, he made the same decision that so many young dreamers made in that era. He packed his things and moved to Los Angeles, the city of dreams, the epicenter of rock, folk, counterculture, and everything that was changing the world. In Los Angeles, he formed a band called Dr. West's Medicine Show and Junk Band, a name as eccentric as the music they made. Psychedelic, experimental, impossible to classify. They had a small hit in 1966 with a song called The Eggplant that ate Chicago. That's how unusual Norman was. But the band didn't last. The sound was too strange for the market, too hard to place, and Norman, like always, kept going on his own. By 1968, he was a solo artist, and that's when everything changed. One night he was sitting in front of the TV when he saw Porter Wagoner, a country music singer, performing a gospel song. Something in that performance hit him deep. He wasn't religious, he was Jewish his whole life, but not practicing. And yet something in the spirituality of that music touched him in a way he couldn't explain. He got up, grabbed his guitar, and in less than 20 minutes, wrote a song. Just one song. A song he had no idea would change his life forever. He called it Spirit in the Sky. He recorded it first as a simple folk song, just him and his acoustic guitar. But when it reached producer Eric Jacobson at Reprise Records, everything changed. Jacobson transformed the song into something completely different. He added an electric guitar with a hypnotic riff you never forget. Gospel backing vocals sung by the Stovall sisters, hand claps, and an energy that blended rock, blues, and spiritual music in a way nobody had done before. The result was a song that sounded like nothing else. Reprise released it in late 1969, and it exploded. Spirit in the Sky climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States. It hit number 1 in the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada. It sold 2 million copies in 1969 and 1970. 2 million. And it received a gold disc from the RIAA. For an artist who'd spent years playing coffee houses and forming bands that went nowhere, it was something completely unreal. But the life of a star wasn't what Norman wanted. He released a few more singles. Canned Ham reached number 46. California Earthquake went nowhere. In 1972, he put out his album Petaluma, named after the California town where he lived. And after that, with no drama, no scandal, no fight with any record label, Norman Greenbaum simply left. He retired to his farm in Northern California in the Petaluma area, where he started producing goat cheese and living the quiet life he'd always wanted. No cameras, no tours, no interviews, just the land, the animals, and peace. While he was milking goats on his farm, his song kept living without him. It lived in movie theaters, in Miami Blues in 1990, in Wayne's World 2 in 1993, in Apollo 13 in 1995, in Michael with John Travolta in 1996, in Contact with Jodie Foster in 1997, in Remember the Titans in 2000, in Ocean's 11 in 2001, in Suicide Squad in 2016, in more than 100 film and television productions across decades. A song written in 20 minutes kept earning money, kept moving people, kept being the soundtrack to important moments on the big screen, while its creator lived in silence on a California farm. In 2015, life shook him in a brutal way. He was a passenger in a car that turned into the wrong path and collided with a motorcycle. The motorcyclist died in the crash. Norman was critically injured and spent weeks in the hospital. For someone whose most famous song is about dying and going up to the sky, the blow was profound, not just physically but emotionally. It was a dark moment that took him a long time to recover from. But he recovered. Today, Norman Greenbaum lives in Santa Rosa, California. He's in his 80s. He still collects royalties every time Spirit in the Sky plays in a movie, a commercial, a series, or a nostalgia playlist anywhere in the world. He has his own website, spiritinthesky.com, where fans can find him. He doesn't give autographs easily, doesn't seek the spotlight, but doesn't push it away either when it comes to him with respect. He's a man at peace with his story. One song, written in 20 minutes, by a Jewish kid from Boston who was never religious, inspired by a country gospel television program that hit #1 in 3 countries, that appeared in more than 100 films and series, and whose creator walked away from all of it to go make goat cheese on a California farm. That's Norman Greenbaum, a man who had everything the world calls success and chose to trade it for a quiet life, and whose song, decades later, is still more alive than many artists who never stopped trying. If this story got to you, if it brought back a memory, if the first time you heard Spirit in the Sky was in a movie you loved or in a moment you can't forget, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know where that song first found you. And if you want to keep hearing stories like this one about forgotten artists who defined an era and disappeared without anyone knowing why, hit subscribe, because there are many more stories like Norman's just waiting to be told.